Congestive cardiac failure. It's a condition of the heart in which the heart is unable to pump the blood toward the tissue, in the required amount. And because of this, there will be decreased blood flow to the tissues, which will lead to decreased oxygen in the tissue level, which will lead to decreased metabolism and decreased ATP production. And so there is decreased energy for the cell to carry out its normal function. So there will be organ dysfunction. So yeah, this is the congestive cardiac failure. In this video, we'll talk about the drugs that are used in congestive cardiac failure, and I will try to make it very easy for you to remember. So let's get started. Let's start with this example. Consider, imagine that you are a manager at a construction site and you have this piles, there are two piles of the bricks, and these are needed to be carried to its destination. So this pile number 1 is a large pile and pile number 2 is a smaller one. And you have two laborers to carry these piles. This is young. You have one laborer who is young and one who is old. So now ask yourself, which pile you will give to whom? So this is the question. Obviously you will give this large pile to the young man and the small pile to this old man. Why you do like this? Because you know that the larger pile will be carried by this young man safely, and if you give this large pile to this old man, then he may crash. He won't be able to carry it. So this is something that is happening to the heart of this congestive cardiac failure. So what happens is, this is our heart. This is superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. This is the pulmonary artery. This is the aorta. Now normally the X amount of the blood is flowing towards the heart, and our normal heart is able to pump it normally. But in this condition, what is happening is, when the X amount of the blood is reaching the heart, our heart is able to pump only X by 2 or even less than X by 2 amount of the blood. That is, most of the blood is remaining in the heart only, and because of this there will be pulling back of the blood in the heart, then towards the lung. First towards the this left side, then in the lungs, which will cause pulmonary edema, then right side, then there will be reflux in the liver. So there is a congestion, in short, because the heart is not able to pump the blood properly. So the reason is because heart has become weak. So now what we can do is, we can increase the number of we can decrease the number of piles, or the number of pricks. How we can do this is by various drugs. That is, here what we need to do is, we need to decrease amount of the blood reaching the heart. So this is our heart. So first thing what we can do is, we can decrease the amount of blood reaching the heart. Second thing what we can do is, we can increase the force of contraction. By increasing the force of contraction, what will happen is, there will be increase in stroke volume, and as a result there will be increased cardiac output and increased blood reaching towards the tissues. Or we can decrease the heart rate. By decreasing the heart rate, what we are doing is, we are decreasing the workload of the heart. Then you know that there is a aorta, here, which pumps the left ventricular blood. When the left ventricle pushes the blood, it reaches to the aorta, and from the aorta the blood is carried towards the system. But this side of the heart, that is left ventricular side, or the left side of the heart, has a high resistance. Even aorta has a high resistance, that is like 120 mm of Hg. This much high resistance is there in the aorta. So this is called total peripheral resistance. So other thing what we can do is we can decrease the total peripheral resistance. So if we decrease the resistance, then with less effort, okay, from the heart, more blood will be pumped towards the aorta and more blood will reach towards the system. So other thing is we can decrease the total peripheral resistance. So now let's talk about the drugs that will help us here. Okay, first we need to decrease the blood flow. How we can do is by giving diuretics. Okay, we have thiazide diuretics, we have furosemides. What this drug will do is they will cause diuresis and increase urine flow. Urine flow will be increased, and as a result there will be blood volume will decrease, and so ultimately decreasing the workload of the heart. And this will also help in decreasing the congestion. So I've already told you that in this condition our heart is unable to pump the blood fully, so there will be blood left inside the heart. So for this also this diuretics will help us. Then we can increase the force of contraction by giving patient inotropics. So what are the inotropics that can be used? We can use dopamine, dobutamine, digoxin, okay, etc. Then we can decrease the total peripheral resistance. But how we can decrease the total peripheral resistance? For that you need to understand how this total peripheral resistance develops. Okay, so let me draw it here only. This is our blood vessel. Okay, and there are smooth muscles here. Okay, because of this contraction of the smooth muscle there will be vasoconstriction, and this vasoconstriction causes increase in resistance. So now how to decrease the resistance? We can decrease it by causing vasodilatation, right? We can do this by causing vasodilatation. So we need to give vasodilators, right? So we will use vasodilators. So which are the vasodilators we will use here? So we will use vasodilators. We can give nitrates, give sodium nitroprusside, we can give hydralazine, we can give ACE inhibitors or ARBs, right? So these are the vasodilators. So what you need to remember here is this simple diagram which I have drawn here. If you keep this diagram in your mind, then it will be very much easy for you to understand the various drugs and why we use them and how they work. Okay, so first let me summarize for you again. We need to decrease the blood volume. We will do it by diuretics. Then we need to increase the force of contraction, which we can do with the help of this inotropics, right? Then we need to decrease this total peripheral resistance, which we can do with the help of vasodilators. Then we have this drug, that is selective beta blockers. These are not given initially because you know that this beta blockers, okay, will cause decrease in force of contraction and decrease in heart rate. And if force of contraction is decreased, then already our heart is not able to pump the blood, and on the top of this we are decreasing its force of contraction. So we are promoting the failure of the heart. So initially we are not giving this drug, we are giving after we have the patient, okay, been stable. So how this beta blocker will help us? They will decrease the heart rate. Okay, so in long run, okay, so we will when we give this beta blockers, it will cause decrease in heart rate. Decrease in heart rate means decrease workload, right? And decrease workload means decrease oxygen consumption by the smooth muscles of cardiac tissue, and this will help them survive better. So we are helping to survive this cardiac cells, that is we are preserving the cardiac cells, cardiac tissues. So this drug causes decrease in mortality. Okay, so this is the only drug that is causing decrease in the mortality in CHF patients. That's why this selective beta blockers is very much important. But remember, you are not giving it during initial phase. Only when your patient is stable, everything is done okay correctly, then only you will start this beta blockers. Because if you will start it initially, then it will cause decrease in force of contraction, and there will be congestion of the blood in the heart, and this can even lead to pulmonary edema and the patient can die. Okay, so after patient has been stable, everything is done well, then only you will prescribe them, and this will cause decrease in mortality. That is, it will cause decreased chances of death in this patient. Okay, so you are surviving the cardiac cells, you are surviving heart, you are increasing the survival of the patient. So just remember this diagram, and I recommend you to draw this diagram by yourself. I know it's messy, but that's how my drawing is. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, thanks for watching.